Hey guys, welcome back. Mike.l.Levine here, and I got another good product to review with you today. It's from a company called FIOBOC. FIOBOC is an eco-friendly, sustainable raw material type company. Very interesting products. I did a jacket on them in my last video. I'm going to be looking at a cool t-shirt today. Before we get into it, just want to make sure you're aware they do send me this product for me to review. It doesn't influence the type of review I'm going to give. Whether I like it or not, you're going to hear my honest opinion. But if you do like the product and it does turn out to be a good review, which I'm sure we all hope for, you can use code Mike. There's a link below that will take you to their website and get a 12% discount. Let's get into it. I have this t-shirt. I have a khaki. I have a blue, this khaki again, and a white. And the white's in a V-neck, the other two are crew necks. And let's just get right into it. Okay, so just your typical t-shirt. We'll switch the overhead camera and look at construction in a minute, but let's look at fiber content. 34% long staple cotton, 34% bamboo fiber, and 32% Sorona. So we'll get into what each one of those items are and what they mean and why they are green or sustainable, keeping up with the company's mantra. The care instructions here say, wash cold, wash separately from other colors, dry flat in a cool, dry place, able to dry clean, ironing at a medium temperature, avoid using a barrel washing machine, and never use chlorine bleach. Okay, so those care instructions are fairly conservative, and I would say a little bit of overkill, although you could mix colors and not get any cross staining. I typically do in all my washing. I don't separate colors. Modern laundry detergents are very protective of that. Dry flat in a cool and dry place. So that's laying it out flat or putting it on a hanger and letting it kind of air dry is just an overkill. Also, you should be able to dry it in a regular dryer and not get much shrinkage. And we'll test that to make sure it's true, because otherwise that would be a little bit difficult to keep up with just the volume of washing when you have to hang dry everything. And then ironing, and this has a fiber in it called Sorona, which is a stretch fiber. It should help avoid a lot of the wrinkling, so probably ironing is not going to be so necessary. But anyways, let's take a quick look at the overhead camera for construction of the garment, and then I'll tell you a little more about the fiber content, which is really cool and what really makes this shirt interesting. So stick around, it should be a good one. Okay, so you can see it's a pretty basic t-shirt. We do have the curved bottom hem, which I like. Comes up a little bit higher on your waist at the side seam and then dips down in front and back to kind of gives a very aesthetic look. We do have the company's name, brand, the size, and wash instructions in a heat seal there on the back neck. Of course, that's nice, no labels, nothing to rub against your neck and irritate it. You have this covering here, which is very normal in a t-shirt, to tape the back neck to cover this seam. And this is a very soft tape. I don't know what's the material, but it's very soft. It's not going to be scratchy one bit. We have this little label here on the side. It's red, white, and blue, which is just the company colors. And then a single piece back. Little reflective logo seal here, which more like a snowflake type look, and that's, I'm sure, to promote the fact that this is a cooling material. It's going to keep you cool during exercise or what have you. Very soft fabric. A lot of that has to do with the fiber content. Rayon is very soft and it always has a nice hand feel. There's no top stitching on the garment except around the neckline, which of course you need to keep that rib collar down. It is a ribbing, not a self fabric, which is a nice touch in nice matching done on the ribbing with the body fabric. As far as color match, they did a great job there. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about more the fiber content and wrap things up. So hold on. Okay, so before we jump into fitting and washing the garment, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about the actual fiber content. It's what makes this shirt cool, quite literally and figuratively. First product that you have in here that we read off the label was long staple cotton. So anyways, long staple cotton, there's different classifications, of course, in cotton. Supima cotton, which is kind of at the top of the chain, that's kind of like the gold standard. That's the U.S. long staple cotton. There's regulations as to exactly how long that staple needs to be in order to be classified as Supima. And that's kind of the one that everybody chases. You have other long staple cottons throughout the world. If it's not grown in the U.S. or not monitored through the Supima organization, then they just tend to call it either Pima cotton, or you also have Egyptian cotton, Turkish cotton. They have their own long staples, and they have their own boards that govern those things. Basically, to the consumer, whether it's long staple, short staple, I mean, they all are very difficult to touch them and differentiate any type of feeling. What more happens is how the yarn itself is spun. That's going to give you ultimately the different hand feels. They comb it so it all lays flat one direction. It's going to feel very silky. If they leave it kind of fluffy, the cotton tends to lose a little bit of strength, but then maybe has a little bit softer feel initially. There's just millions of combinations of little tweaks that they could do. But ultimately, cotton is biodegradable. It is a natural occurring raw material that can be sustainable under the right conditions. And so cotton, great fiber to use. Of course, we all know that it absorbs water, it dries quickly, and so that helps with a little bit of cooling. The second fiber that they mentioned on the content label was bamboo fiber. So bamboo fiber is kind of a little bit of a difficult topic because really it's not bamboo fiber, it's rayon. And the rayon can come from bamboo, or it could come typically from other resources as well. It's a woody pulp is the raw material that goes into developing it. Regardless, it is sourced from plants or trees, and that kind of makes it sustainable. It makes it a natural product. You're not using petroleum based, which is really the culprit for a lot of carbon emissions and pollution and anything that's basically petroleum sourced as its base raw material. Then later you have the difficulty of, at the end of the garment's life, what happens to it, because it lasts forever in landfills and in the ocean. Where if you take these materials such as rayon will eventually break down in the environment, and so it becomes a little bit more environmentally friendly from that standpoint. And if you're using correct raw materials to build it from, like bamboo, which doesn't require pesticides, doesn't require a lot of water, you get a tremendous amount of growth, so it grows very quickly. So there's a lot of pluses there. This particular bamboo fiber is rayon. The other type of bamboo fiber is a bamboo linen, which actually uses real bamboo fibers. You break them down into little pieces until it's fine enough to be woven into a yarn. And those are completely different products. Bamboo linen you very rarely see in the market, and that has a lot of the properties that are natural to bamboo. Bamboo rayon, by the time you strip it down of the cellulose out of the bamboo, which is what we use to create the fiber, basically you extract the cellulose. Cellulose is like the starchy, pulpy part of the bamboo or the tree, so to speak. That starch is then mixed with an acid, creates a polymer that then you can harden, extruding them into fibers, and basically that's where rayon comes from. Rayon has a lot of nice properties. It has a very soft hand feel, it's silky, it loves to absorb water. When you're wearing it, your shirt is going to help keep you dry by soaking up a lot of the moisture off your skin. The third and final fiber is Sorona, and Sorona is also a really cool fiber. It's from natural occurring sources also. I know it to be from corn, but it doesn't have to be from corn. It could be from any plant. Basically, they take the sugars or the glucose out of those plants. So as opposed to rayon, which is based on the starchy part, Sorona is based on the sugary glucose of the plant. It's then mixed with an acid, created a polymer, extruded into a fiber. You end up with a very stretchy fiber. Serona will stretch. It's not quite like spandex, but it's comparable. It also wants to wick and dry quickly, so it's a good cooling fiber, and it will biodegrade in the environment, so it's environmentally friendly. If you can harvest it from a raw material that's going to be friendly to the environment, and once again, there are certain corns now that don't require a lot of pesticides. There is some questions as to whether you want to use a food source to develop raw materials when there's people hungry in the world, but that's another topic. The big takeaway here is that it's environmentally friendly because it does biodegrade. It's not a petroleum sourced product. Enough about the fibers. Let's take a couple of measurements. We'll wash it, we'll dry it, and we'll take those measurements again so we can check out the shrinkage and just confirm whether we really want to be able to dry this in the dryer or if we're going to have to make special accommodations for it once you buy the garment at home. All right, so stick around. It's going to be good. Okay, so real quick, let's just do a length and width so we can be able to check the fabric shrinkage. So overall length before, I got 30, and the chest measurement right at the armhole opening, bottom of the armhole, and we have 46 and a half. All right, let's check the blue and the white as well. So, little shirt board in there that helps keep them flat and wrinkle free during shipping. Oh, this is really nice. Feels so soft. This is a good weight shirt. This is a heavy material. There was no skimping when they chose that. Okay, once again, overall length 29 and a half. And the chest, let's see here. We do it right at the armhole. 47. Okay, and last but not least, let's check this white one. Overall length 29 and 3/4. Chest measurement, once again, right there at the bottom of the armhole. And we got 46 and a quarter. Here we are, straight out of the dryer. A couple things I want to point out. I did wash all 3 shirts together with a couple other pieces of my own personal laundry. There was no transference of color, as you can see, onto the khaki. It retained its color. It didn't get stained by another color. And the overall appearance, and it went through, used a regular dryer. I did not lay it flat and let it air dry. So you can see that this appearance is super flat. There is no wrinkling whatsoever. You attribute that to 2 things. One is the Serona fiber. That stretch fiber is going to want that garment to lay flat. And once again, if you don't overload your washer or overload your dryer with just too many garments, then they can open up while they're tumbling, and it allows the wrinkles to stay out. And that works for pretty much anything, but certainly having the Serona in there improves upon that. So anyways, let's take a look at the measurements, see if we got any shrinkage. There you go. So we got about 46 and a half in the chest. Let's see the length. And the length 29. So we had 30 beforehand. So we got a little bit of shrinkage in the length. Nothing really in the chest. Overall, less than 3% shrinkage, and really anything under 4%, either in the length or the width, is really great. Here's the blue. Similar comments. Really came out of the dryer quite nice and flat. No wrinkles, no transference of colors, no staining, no loss of color. It's pretty much the same color blue that we had when we put it in. Let's check the length and then the chest. So overall length, we got 28 and 7/8. We had 29 and a half beforehand, so we lost a little bit, not much. And the chest, 46 and a half, which we had 47. So about 1% in the chest, 2% in the length, once again within that 4% criteria. That, once again, nice quality fabric, no problems in shrinkage. Last but not least, and our most problematic of probably, where we would expect to have the problems, would be in the white. So here's that white V-neck. Once again, if you can look at the surface, and hopefully it's coming through on the camera, but you can see, once again, very nice appearance of flatness, limited amount of wrinkles or markings, really. No staining, so no transference of color onto the white. The white stayed vibrant and clean looking. It didn't dull up. So overall, high marks there for its performance. The chest, let's see, we had a 46-inch measurement. It was the smaller of the garments before wash. And we're right at 46 still. If anything, we lost maybe a quarter of an inch. We had 29 3/4 in the length before wash, and now 28 and a half. So a little bit more than an inch in the length, which is close to that 4% amount. Still under, it still performed very well. I think next step, we'll just try it on and see what they look like and sum things up. So stick around, but overall, high marks, very satisfactory on the shrinkage performance. All right, so this is how the shirt fits. It's a loose fitting shirt, which is very nice. Still retain the great soft hand feel after wash. You can see that it's not too tight around the arms. And what I really like is where the neckline falls off the neck. I hate when the neckline comes out too high and it feels like it's hitting that soft part of your neck. It makes me feel like it's choking me. Let's take a look at the other colors. And see, the blue fits just like the khaki. Really no change. Once again, soft hand feel, nice colors, and they stayed vibrant after the wash. I washed all three colors together, and you see there was no transference of color, which the most important one. Kind of like the thermostat of it is the white one, but you'll see the white came out really a brilliant white. So. And as you can see, the V-neck also similar. It's a little bit tighter fit. I don't know if that's intentional by the company or just coincidence. But you can see it's a little bit tighter around the arm, a little bit smaller around the chest. But that Serona with the stretch in there is definitely apparent. And it's still, we got that flat look. We didn't get any transference of color, either khaki or blue, onto the garment. Now, I would not have washed it with a red garment because that would be pushing it, but I think it doesn't have to be necessarily light colors, like L-I-K-E, light colors, in order for you to wash them together, unless you have something like blue denim or red t-shirt or something like that. I think you're okay. And you see that the dryer did a terrific job. We really didn't get the shrinkage, which is what we saw. The flat, smooth appearance, and that's because of the stretch Serona fiber. Going to keep that laying flat and smooth, no wrinkles. So overall, great performance. I really do give this garment 5 stars. It's really terrific. That kind of sums up my review. It is cool. It is comfortable. I don't know if I would go work out in it. I think it's more for me like everyday, all-day wear. But if you do choose to go to the gym in it, I'm sure it would be just fine there. Even though it's quick, dry, and cooling, it's still a little heavy, a little warm for me. I prefer tank tops and just try and keep the heat off me as much as possible when I work out. Anyways, thank you for watching. Remember, code Mike if you decide to buy one of the products from them. And as always, continue to dress smart. And if your company would like to make some similar product like this and you need a manufacturer, reach out to me. Always looking for new customers. Take care.